Okay, hi guys. I wasn't actually going to make a video, but because I don't really have the time or the patience right now to make a video the way that I normally would, even though that's how I'm most comfortable doing this. But then I realized that it would really bug me if I didn't. So I'm just gonna film this on my phone, like off the cuff, unedited, and hope that I actually say what I want to say. Obviously this is gonna be, well, I've titled it a rant, but I think anyone who's watched my videos kind of knows that I'm not really someone who does mindless hate. Like, I have really justifiable reasons for thinking the things that I think, and so it's kind of going to be more of a vent. So it's been really bugging me since I saw the trailer to season 5 that well, there's one specific moment that bugs me more than the rest because it was all pretty shit, but there's a second where you see that clip, the flashback of Laurel in the hospital bed, and one of her last words to Oliver was that she doesn't want him to go it alone. And then, like, literally, like, immediately seconds later in the trailer, Oliver is like, Felicity thinks that we should start a new team. And I'm like, what? Laurel was the one that didn't want you to work on your own. And it bugged me because this is becoming a pattern, because there's no consistency now. There's no, like, things are said or done by other characters and they don't seem to matter in the long term, because I think a lot of people will agree that season 2 was like a high point. So if you think back to season 2, the whole premise of season 2 was Tommy's death had kind of given Oliver this motivation to, not kill anymore. And then the tagline for the second season was all, to honor my best friend's memory, I need to be someone else. So, so Tommy's memory was prevalent through all of season 2. And if you think even to the season 2 finale, Oliver didn't kill Slade, he imprisoned him. So, Slade being left alive and being imprisoned on the island, and Oliver walking away from both Slade and the island simultaneously, that was really symbolic of Oliver moving on from the person that he was when he returned from there and honouring what Tommy wanted by not killing. So that whole season kind of came full circle and it all tied together. And even though Tommy was dead by the time the season started, he was still very much a presence throughout the narrative of the whole season. And I think that was a really powerful thing to do. I mean, another thing that I thought was awesome in season 2 was when Moira died, it was like a direct parallel to how Robert died. So both of Oliver's parents had sacrificed themselves for him. And it was really kind of a really nice parallel. So yeah, season 2 had a lot of powerful but overlooked moments if you think about the full narrative like that, because there was a lot of homage paid to the first season as well. And that kind of consistency has been lost in the last 2 seasons, and I think a large part of that is Olicity. Because if you think about it this way, Tommy didn't want Oliver to kill people, and so the tagline for season 2 was, to honor my best friend's memory, I must be someone else. And now we know that Laurel said to Oliver, I don't want you to work alone. Then wouldn't it follow that the tagline for season 5 should be something along the lines of, to honor Laurel's memory, I've decided to allow others to join my crusade, and together we will fight for our city. Like, I don't know, I just feel like it would be a lot more symbolic, a lot more poignant if they'd honored what Laurel said, because that was her dying wish. Like, it was her dying wish for him to not work alone. And then seconds later, the trailer is all, Felicity thinks that we should start a team. Felicity thinks we should do this. I'm like, no. She just said on her deathbed that, I'm just so annoyed that everything seems to come back to Olicity, and it's like eroding all of Oliver's prior relationships with everyone, because Tommy is not important anymore because Felicity says, oh, kill that guy, and then Oliver goes and kills that guy. even though no one else really thinks that he should. And then, so Tommy is no longer relevant because, you know, Felicity says jump and Oliver is like, how high? And then, I mean, Thea. Oliver said multiple times, you know, I'm someone who'll do anything I can to protect my sister. You know, my sister is really important to me. All this stuff, like, Oliver and Thea were super duper close, and then Thea dies, gets brought back, is too traumatized to live in her own flat, and gets taken in by her brother's ex because her brother is too busy driving off into the sunset with Felicity and doesn't even know. Thea was just brought back. Thea is, like, fucking traumatized. And Oliver is like, no, sorry, I'm gonna go play house with Felicity. Fuck you. Like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't follow. That's not the Oliver that we've seen in prior seasons. Oliver wouldn't abandon Thea that way. And it's like, even Diggle. Diggle doesn't do anything anymore unless he's giving relationship advice to Oliver and Felicity. I can't remember the last time that Oliver and Diggle just had a conversation or had a bit of banter or were friends other than fucking Diggle being a relationship counselor. And it's stupid that all of these amazing characters are now, like, completely just thrown under the bus because, oh, but Felicity's more important. And I'm not just hating on the Olicity thing because I don't like it. I just think that it's putting a wrench in the works. I don't think it makes sense creatively to approach things like that. Because what would be the point or the overall impact of Laurel's death or Tommy's death or Thea's death? Why would these things still count if they were immediately dismissed because Felicity said something different? Why would you do any of these things if you weren't going to uphold them? And it just really bugs me. And I mean, another thing is the Flashpoint. Flashpoint it's like a major event in the whole verse. And then Wendy Miracle is like, Felicity will be affected the most by Flashpoint. Why? And I'm not saying that to be bitchy, I'm just genuinely curious because Oliver is the main character, and this is a huge fucking event that has the potential to alter the course of the entire series so far, in which Felicity started out as a supporting character. Meaning that, you know, for the first season at least, she was just the tech support. And then in season 2, she had a bit more prominence, but still, she was not elevated to the level that she's now at. So for half of the show, Oliver is, you know, obviously he's the main character, and for at least half of the show now, a lot of these things have circulated around him. So if Flashpoint has the potential to erase history and alter previous events, and Oliver is obviously the one that we've watched, wouldn't it also follow that it was Oliver that this would affect? It's just like, really, I don't get it. I just don't. And I'm not hating on Felicity. I just don't understand the creative approach to this or the writing or how that makes sense to them. And then another thing where Guggenheim says that episode 5 of season 5 is going to be one of the most Olicity-centric episodes to date. And I get that there are people who like Olicity, right? I get it. But I think that the writers don't seem to get that there are also people who don't. And they're not providing much for all the people who don't like Olicity, or for all the people who are completely indifferent to Olicity and just like the show in general. I feel like the writers and the actors and no one involved with the show seems to be teasing anything else. So for the people who don't watch the show for Olicity, they're looking for tidbits of information, they're looking for spoilers, and they're not getting anything because all they get given is Olicity all the time. So they're like, people are looking forward to season 5, and then it's like, oh, Olicity this, Olicity this. And it's like, well what else? What else? And I'm just like, really, the sun's really weird. Okay. But yeah, I'm just so annoyed with Olicity overrunning everything all the time, and I don't get it. Like, I don't understand why these choices are made, and it's just so annoying. And I think Flashpoint affecting Felicity the most is ridiculous. Who came up with that? How will it affect her? I don't even care how it affects her, to be honest. But yeah, the more I hear about season 5, the more sure I am that I'm not going to watch it. And I don't understand how even people who are Olicity fans, by this point, they must admit that this is beyond. I mean, I know that they're happy about what they're seeing, but any logical person can see how there's a clear kind of preference for Olicity that has overshadowed everything else. And it's not very healthy, because there's that saying that your partner should be your best friend and not your only friend. And all of Oliver's other relationships are being cast out in favor of Olicity. Like, you know, Tommy's importance, Laurel's importance, Thea's importance, all of these things are now being cast aside in favor of Felicity, and that's not healthy. Like, I'm not saying that she shouldn't be the priority if they're in a relationship, but she shouldn't be the only thing that matters, especially when there are other people in his life who are going through very, very traumatic experiences at the time. Like, the whole William thing. I mean, I would have loved, when William came to light, I would have loved for Oliver to go to Moira's grave and get angry and frustrated because he didn't know that, like, his mum did this to him, and he didn't know. Like, and she's dead, so he can't get answers from her. And he'll never get closure on that. He'll never know why she did that. And I would have loved to have seen that anger and that frustration, because he's been denied 8 years with his kid because of a choice that his mother made behind his back. Yet, throughout the entire William arc, Moira wasn't even mentioned. It was all about Felicity and their relationship and not the actual child in question. That's ridiculous. Why is Oliver not allowed other relationships? Why is everything overshadowed by Olicity? That's not healthy. Especially when he's supposed to be the main character, and we follow him through this journey, and people who've watched it from the beginning, we know how calculated Moira was. We know that that was a decision that she made. And now we're seeing the consequence of that, and she's not even mentioned. It's ridiculous. I'm just so annoyed with this, because it's like, what is the point in even having other characters right now? What's the point in even having Oliver? Because at the end of, like, season 4, it was like it was Felicity's dad and Felicity's mum and Felicity's ex-boyfriend, and Felicity's mum's now dating Quentin, and it was like all about Felicity's family, yet Moira wasn't even mentioned during the William arc that she facilitated. It just doesn't make sense. I'm just so annoyed by this whole thing. And I don't think that there's a justification for it. I think that it is nothing but bias. I think that the writers, they know that the Olicity fans engage with them. The Olicity fans ask for things. And they know that the Olicity fandom is very, very vocal. And they just peddle Olicity. They just give them what they want all the time. And it's like, well, what about the people who don't? What about the writers, the viewers who've been here from the beginning? People who were on board before the show even started because they love these characters. People that have expectations that you haven't met. And you can't even give them a couple of sentences of what to look forward to, because all you're given is Olicity all the time. I don't get it, and it's pissing me off. And like I said, I wasn't going to do this video because I don't have the time to put it together, and I'm not really comfortable doing a video like this, but it's really, really gonna just build up and really bug me if I don't get it out. So this is more for me, just to get it off my chest, but yeah. Okay.